Okay, welcome. And today we're looking at something very exciting. It excites me because it is part of history. First, as an online platform, and pretty much later, they started off printing, and it's just the 52nd edition. Yes, but we'll talk pretty much later about that, talking about the wheel. Welcome. Today, I'm excited to have the publisher of the wheel. Newspapers, and of course downtown Austyn Ogannah. Austyn, good to see you, and thanks for your time.
Thank you again.
Hey guys, it's the first anniversary. It's a big one, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's a journey that a lot of people would like to hear how this all began. First, you one Nigerian who's been there and you've been consistent even before a lot of us ventured into online publishing. And by the way, he was the president of the Online Publishers Association of Nigeria, Open. So tell us about the journey so far.
You see, every time I look back to how it all started, I chuckle. In this piece, I introduced in this anniversary edition because it's just to be clear, it's the first anniversary of the print edition, right? Not the media, not the media company itself. So it's the first anniversary of the print edition, and I did something quite special. I wrote a back page piece titled 1 year after, where it tells the story, tells how this whole idea started with me just having $3,000 in my pocket, exchange with that then probably converts it to around 390,000 naira, which was the only money I had in the bank. Yes,
that was a gamble.
That was the only money I had in the bank, and I had this big dream. But I said to myself that I have to start from somewhere. So I started from the website, which probably cost me $700-800 to start. Finding a graphic artist on Craigslist that helped me design the initial insignia, the initial logo, paying for hosting and what have you. So it's been interesting, and watched it, get the first advert, which was UBA.
Whoa!
Yes, at that time, which was for $4,000 a month, and then Guaranteed Trust Bank joined, and Access Bank joined, and Zenith Bank joined, and Dangote joined. So I saw this thing start, just like a dream, and then it grew and grew and grew to a point where I said, okay, we've done 10 years of digital work.
10 years?
Yes.
That's a decade.
Yes.
And counting.
Yes. And I said, okay, we've done 10 years of good digital work, tremendous growth, fantastic numbers, a lot of followers that read us, built a lot of authenticity over time, knack for breaking news, knack for authentic reports. We're one of the first, probably number one or number two. We're still disputing whether Disney wrote it before us or we wrote it before Disney. The death of Yaradua. Yes.
And guess what? I'll tell you something before I let you get to that. I'll tell you something. I was lucky and blessed to be on Channel's News at 10 on that day, on that night. That was a story that you'd be so, confused whether it's real or not. When they say, go ahead, break it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when I got the story, right, I called Induka. I had called a lot of people, and they said they weren't sure. But I knew the source that gave me the story. So I said
that's the chairman of
yeah.
We'll tell you later on about some men in the industry, a lot of great men that Austyn and myself have been privileged and blessed to have met, in the course of this journey. Under Carl Bagwina, John Momo, Chris Obosi. We'll tell you about that's another story for another day. So now let's get back to it.
So I called him. Look at my mentor. I call him Publisher. He calls me Publisher. I say no, I'm the small publisher.
He's the Duke.
You are the man. So I called him and he said, what's up? I said, I heard that Yarago had died. He said, yes, but we're publishing it. You have to give us credit. And I said, yeah, but I'm just calling you to confirm. He said, yes, I'm telling you it's true, but we're writing it. I'm sure we've written it, so you have to give us credit.
And it's for confirming.
Yes, at least for confirming. So I said, okay, and that was it, because it was a breaking story. So I told my guys to go ahead and release the story. So that's why I say that we're probably, if not number one, number two, right? And the second, that was one story that put us out there.
That's true.
That was the first thing. Ironical. Then the second story that put us out there was when James Ibori, with all the madness that happened at that time, the past, when James Ibori was detained in Dubai. We were the first by at least 30-45 minutes. Because when we got that story, Ibori had not even left the
UAE.
The location where he was being taken away from. He was still in his unit when we got that story that they were coming to arrest him. So by the time we put out the story, the arrest was going on.
And that's the power of online.
Yeah. So the arrest was going on when we put out the story. So a lot of people were wondering whether it was true or not. So it took about an hour for people to start writing. People were disputing. Well, we had actually gone to bed. I'd written that story and I'd gone to bed because they woke me up to give me the song, woke me up to give me the story, written it, and I'd go back to bed. And when I woke up in the morning, I started hearing on the shootout that it didn't happen. But it did happen, and by then they had even taken him to court. I was trying to get bail. So that was another story that put us out there. And we've written multiple stories. I remember the story of who was it now? It was some guy that imported, he said he brought in arms into the country when Jonathan was president. I ran into the Iranian embassy or somewhere.
Yes.
Do you remember that story?
I remember the story.
We were number one in that story.
I remember the story.
I don't have the details of that story.
I remember the story clearly.
Yeah, but some guy that...
It was a story myself and my team there on Sunrise that we treated as well.
Yes, it was some guy that imported arms into the country, and then the DSS tried to catch him, and he ran into the Iranian embassy. Yeah, we had that story. I can't remember the details, but we were number one in that. So we've written multiple stories that went into mainstream media. Some of them they give us credit for, some of them they didn't. I know how many times I called, we respect someone like Uncle Samamuka to complain about the Vanguard, lifting stories from the wheel and never giving us credit.
And I guess, and I can say, he wouldn't be happy about that because that's not the tradition he's actually, giving out to.
Yeah, he used to be very livid. Whenever I
Yes.
call him and tell him, you say these people should do the right thing. I know you're small, don't be mad. How they need to. So we make the journey has been tremendous. Because the good thing about what we've done is we have a lot of goodwill. And the idea behind the wheel, when I started the wheel, was that I realized that a lot of journalists and my friends were complaining that their stories were being censored when they worked in the big media. So you write a story, your editor doesn't like it, or the publisher doesn't like it, they drop it. So some of those stories come to me. So I had a network of journalists like that when they have good stories and they know that where they work, will censor it because of the interest. And they come to me, and I was one of those alternative platforms, and I had a relationship with the journalists, because in media it's who you know.
Absolutely. I was actually coming to that aspect because I was going to say, because upcoming and even our colleagues will also watch, even though till death we don't drop names of sources. How is it like? Sources are very key on this job, and sometimes you sit and you get first-hand information of something. How does it work? When it's one big story, the adrenaline pumping, and you just have a story that no one else had.
Yeah, you see, sometimes, you get stories that you actually tell yourself that these stories are too big for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're now telling yourself, should I go ahead and print this? What if it's not true? I've had a source that used to give me very good stories and give me one story that turned out not to be exactly how it happened. I have to apologize for that story.
That was very painful.
Yeah, that was very painful. That was my first baptism of fire. It was a story that Michael Gero had been arrested at the villa. I don't know if you remember.
I remember that story.
Someone gave me a very reliable source, citing someone in the security apparatus in the villa. They kept saying, is this true? He said yes. And I called 2 or 3 other people that were quite reliable. And they told me that, they don't think it's true because, the movement in the villa that day did not indicate that, there was that kind of tension. So I was caught between this and this. And, it was a very, very difficult and painful decision. But I published the story. And then an hour later, I realized that our story was wrong. And I pulled it down. In fact, I tried to reach Iman Iboro.
Yeah.
Who was who I was very close to, the president's spokesman at that time. And Iman Iboro was not answering his phone. This one I was very close to. So I kept calling and calling. And he didn't pick up the phone. So I said, it looks like this
It's
true. So it was after we published that I was now able to reach him, and he said, there's nothing of such absolute trash. So why didn't you call me? I said, I've been calling you. And he looked at his phone, and he saw my calls, and I realized that his phone was in mute. He said, it's not true, take it down. It's not true, it's a lie. I said, are you sure? He said, it's not true. If it's true, I'll tell you.
Because he's also a journalist.
He said, look, I'm telling you, in my official capacity as the president's spokesman, there's nothing like that. And I had to put the story down.
I think that then Ogedeme was the chief of staff.
Chief of staff, yeah.
To President Jonathan.
Yeah. So I had to put the story down and I apologize. So that was my first baptism of fire. Because sometimes you get stories that are so big. You say, how come nobody's reporting this?
And I also recall when then you called me, then we were running the news, the story of the death of Ajimobi.
True.
And
True.
After you recall, after day 1, everyone withdrew. Known journalists called Babajide Chidodo. He changed everything.
And you said, let's stay on this.
I said no, I was going to stay on this. And I'll tell you where it got really, really serious. Again, another veteran, Unduka Irabo, called me from his space outside my and said, Sulaiman, I see that story is still on your platform. If this thing is wrong, you're gone because you allowed it to stay too long. And if it's right, well, it will help you. But again, if it turns out true, tomorrow, please, you know what you do. Leave all this death matter. If they're dead, you're dead. I said, okay, all right, my source is very sure that he's done, perhaps politics and all that. And pretty much then I turned out. So I can imagine how you felt.
On our website, we left the story. We didn't take it down. Because my source are told that there doesn't mean politics with this man is dead. So you get stories like that, and that's why sometimes our job is very hard, but most people don't know.
You can send it to me.
Yes. To stay accurate to consider a lot of factors before you take a story out, because you put out the wrong story. You know, for every wrong story you put in, you're chipping into your credibility. It's just a very, it's psychology, that if everything you tell me is true, it means that whenever you open your mouth to say something, I can take it to the bank. But if some things you tell me are true and some things you tell me are lies or are not true, it means your credibility is 50-50 based on the information that comes out of your mouth. But if every time you write and everything you've written is wrong, then nobody takes you seriously. Because the day you write the correct thing, they'll say it's not true until they see it manifest in black and white. So we try to guard what we put out there. Because you see the pen, is mighty.
Absolutely. So quickly here, Austyn, you came in, let's talk about privilege, when a lot of Nigerians thought that the culture of reading newspapers, by the way, I like to smell papers, I like to smell books, I love them. So the culture of reading newspapers was dying, but somehow I look forward, and this is not because it's you, I look forward, and by the way, thanks, because you leave me a copy every Sunday at Classic FM, and I appreciate that. And it's a paper I don't get to read, at a sitting. I find myself reading the wheel all through till the next one because of the features, because of some insights. For instance, look at politics. And does this also bother you quickly here about the dwindling reading culture? Because back in the day, and I'm sure you also experienced that, our parents, they were always buying papers. We were reading newspapers, and now with the wheel coming in, talk to us about the reading culture in Nigeria, and if there's anything the wheel and other colleagues of yours trying to reverse the trend.
You see, people still read, but the truth is, people like to read. Talking from my own perspective and understanding, people tend to not want to read things that will stress them. So that's
there's enough stress already.
There's enough stress already. So that's why TikTok and Reels are fun, because people go there to laugh. So you don't really blame people for not wanting to read as much as they used to read. But talking about the industry itself, the industry is not doing badly. The truth is that if you have good stories, people will read. If you have stories that people can relate to, people read it. It's an election year. People are interested in the part of the interest, those things that they don't have access to because they are not close to the players. This is where us in the media come in. So every day we hear things and we try to find out what is correct and what is not, and then put out what is correct for the people to help the people make an informed decision when it's time to vote. The interest today for news is higher because when an election, the gladiators are all lining up, and that's why you notice most of our stories have been geared, because it's a project that we are very passionate about, helping Nigeria elect the fixer. I want to call that president that can. Because we have a lot of problems.
So that means you also believe that this is a make or mine election. Nigeria has to get it right.
Absolutely, everybody knows, and that's why there's a lot. Look at the caption today. When we say 2023 presidential ticket, zoning tears APC, PDP apart. Then the riders, ruling party leans towards South-South. Not a lot of people know that APC is actually seriously looking to pick their presidential candidate from the South.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Not the Southwest.
No, not a lot of people know this, but based on the things that we've heard from the players, we found out this. Then hold on.
Go ahead.
Then there's another major development that has never happened before in this country because of the dire situation that we're in. APC, PDP, the two leading parties. APC, the ruling party, PDP, the main opposition party. APC, PDP, bigwigs, business leaders meet over consensus candidate. So the leaders, the bigwigs in the PDP and APC, and the big leagues of the main players in the business sector, which means the Dangotes, the Samad, the big players in the banking sector, in industry, in media, name them, oil and gas. They all sat down for 3 days to have a conversation on Nigeria's security problem, on how to get Nigeria out of the current economic quagmire, and also how to ensure that we have good elections. But what I found out from what they meant by good elections is to make sure that Nigeria elects somebody that can fix all these problems.
Two things here.
Yes.
I know for sure. I know. Just as I know that you also know that these names you've called have always been key players in electing, whoever, But there's something here. The South, leaning towards the South, and also talking about these big players are thinking of having a consensus. It then means those we're seeing now, those canvassing, without talking about anyone in particular, aren't those that may ultimately emerge.
It's always been like that in Nigeria. Let me take you back to how Obasanjo emerged as president. Obasanjo was in prison, right? He was not even in the conversation a year before, 6 months, 8 months before he became the candidate of the PDP. Alex Ekweme was the front runner
For the people.
for the PDP. It was Alex Ekweme's ticket. In fact, one of the players at that time, in that I think it was G38 that got forced into the PDP, said that they should include it in their constitution that the first presidential candidate, the first president that the PDP would put forward, the candidate the PDP would put forward, from it would be Alex Ekweme. They moved to include it in the party's constitution when they were going to crystallize into a proper political party. But Ekweme stood it down and said it was undemocratic. So it was a front runner. But Obasanjo came from prison. They brought Obasanjo from prison, Babangida, Abdul Salam, and made him president. After Obasanjo finished his 8 years, Yaradua was not even, the late president Yaradua was not even in the top 5, top 7 of the discourse. Was not even in the top 5, top 7 of the discourse. And a day to 2 days before the primary, Obasanjo called the party governor and told him that this is the man that I want.
He was a governor then.
Yeah, he was the governor of Katsina.
Yes.
I said, this is the man that I want. The front runners there were Odili, who had done a lot of work. Donald Duke, who had done a lot of work. And many others that were working, but not, Gero was not in the top 5. Nobody called it. It was not even in the equation. I'm trying to answer this question.
Go ahead.
Then they brought him and said, this is our guy. And that's how Yaradua emerged. In 2015, nobody really gave Buhari a chance. They didn't really give Buhari a chance in 2015. Nobody really, It's never happened in Nigeria that a behemoth like PDP, an incumbent party,
We'll lose an election.
loses an election. Well realized. And today, there's a field, and understanding how Nigeria works, right? It's possible that whoever will emerge president is probably someone that that we're just talking about and not taking them seriously. Someone that probably just say, oh, maybe it's this person, or maybe it's that person.
So
But these are the front runners.
So listening to you, is it safe for us to say Nigeria operates, or sometimes the 11th hour, game?
Yes, because we're still, an unraveling democracy. We're still growing. We're not as sophisticated as even in the West. I think. Look at how Barack Obama emerged. Barack started from nowhere. People always knew that he was going to be great at some point because he speaks very well. But when Barack decided to run, you mentioned 2, 3, 4 top aspirants of the Democratic Party. You wouldn't mention Barack. You would not have mentioned him. But when he won the first primary in Iowa, Iowa is the caucus. They call it the caucus. When he won that, it's okay. Who's this guy? The establishment had backed Hillary. Yeah. So who's this guy? Then he goes, he wins the second, he wins the third, and then I said, okay, look. Like there's something here, and the players, the kingmakers, started coalescing towards Barack. So don't be surprised that whoever will emerge president in 2023 is someone that today was saying, can't fly, this guy doesn't have the support, the usual things we say. But 6 months, 3 months, 5 months, I think the parties will probably have their primaries around August. So don't be surprised that by March, April, this candidate, or whoever it is, starts gaining momentum and people start beginning to look and you start seeing forces lining behind this guy. So, because you can't rule out the influence of power and money in determining Nigeria's president were not ripe enough. Because even some of us don't belong to any political parties. Nigerian youths don't belong to any political parties. And that's the first step to choosing a president. Because there are too many political parties. We all know clearly that in this round of elections, if things go as planned, except there's a surprise, I don't think there'll be a surprise, that the candidates or the aspirants in the PDP and the APC will have the field day, trying to sell themselves. So who emerges between these two parties will determine where the presidential election goes to, whether it goes to the PDP or goes to the APC.
Well, I really can't wait for us to see how this pans out. Listening to you, I know definitely it's likely to crystallize.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said that from March, April, definitely we're likely to see all of that. But it's a fine conversation I've had with you this day, and I'm excited because it's a historic day, yes, for the wheel. And for upcoming journalists, they've also been able to get something from you. You must have a mentor. You must have someone, you rode on his or her back, someone who's been able to tutor you, and it will ultimately help you on this job. And again, listening to you again also tells us about relationships. Keep it there going, and that's how sources also get to you. Talking about reliable sources, and if it turns out you get burnt, don't be too
deflated.
Yeah, to own up and quickly apologize and move on. Austyn Ogannah, the publisher of The Wheel, and the entire team of The Wheel, at The Wheel. We say congratulations to Nigerians. This conversation I've had with Austyn will be, a regular. Yes, we don't know who I'll be having the next conversation with.
And this was impromptu anyway.
Honestly,
we just.
I finished the discourse. I said, no, what is happening? I need to come see Austyn because it's first anniversary of The Wheel, and here we are having this conversation. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for always giving us the support.
Thank you.
We keep working hard and keep making the difference.
Absolutely.
Because if we don't make the difference, nobody will do it for us. The change that we seek is in our hands to make happen. If we don't, nobody will do it for us.
Absolutely, man. I'm here again, and I don't know if Austyn will be coming back, but whoever is coming back is surely going to benefit you. I see you there.